I've made videos about the man of my dreams, the man that I didn't even know existed, but he turned up in my dreams. But I haven't made videos yet about what I discovered about him when I went to a hypnotherapist. Hello, hello, hello. It's Caroline Chapman. I did not go to the hypnotherapist for past life regression. I went to lose weight. You know, the man that I dreamt about, that was a stranger. We ended up getting married and I got pregnant. I had a miscarriage. I started to gain weight. Now, you know, I've always had issues with weight going up and down and always having to be careful of what I eat and exercising and all of that kind of stuff. But this was way different. I was gaining like a pound a day. And I was seeing my doctor regularly. And she said my body was getting sort of spongy and soggy. And she recommended I go to some specialists. So I did. And I ended up going to 4 doctors. All the doctors had done tests. My thyroid was normal. Everything was just coming back normal. The 4th one diagnosed me with a hormonal imbalance. He said, something's gone whack with your body after the miscarriage. And this was a gynecologist. And he said, you know, it sometimes happens. I didn't know that. But anyway, it was no comfort to me that it sometimes happens. And I said, what do I do? He said, I don't know. There's nothing we know what to do. And we're just assuming it's going to sort itself out. Well, this went on through, I think, 3 times I had to buy a larger size of clothes. That was very discouraging. Not only discouraging that I'd lost the baby, but now this was extra discouraging. So I had this girlfriend and she said, you know, why don't you go to a hypnotherapist? I was what they say, clutching at straws. So I went to the hypnotherapist. She said, okay, you know, you said that you've had issues with your weight in the past. Do you mind if we do some past life regression? Well, I was sort of curious by then, and I said, if you think it might help. She said, yes, you might find something out in your past lives that is leading to this karmic problem. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this so far, would you do me a kind favor and just tap that like button down there, because it really makes me feel good and encourages me to continue, and also helps it that this video will be seen by other people. Thank you so much. So we went ahead with the past life regressions, and we had a number of them. What I'm thinking of specifically, it had to do with I had been a princess and I had an arranged marriage. It was way in the olden days. Women did not wear pants. They wore long dresses. There was no photography. The only way you might know how somebody looked was if somebody drew or painted a likeness of that person. So I had seen a likeness of my betrothed. I lived in another country far away. The whole thing had been arranged between my parents and his parents. And at the age of 14, when I achieved adulthood, now I was to go to meet him, to marry him. And you know, in those days, people didn't live as long as they do now. So 14 would have been an okay age to get married. I remember that I was wearing a light blue silk dress. I had blonde hair. I was in a horse-drawn carriage. And it seems like there were 6 horses up front. The horses all had plumes on the top of their heads. And somehow in my mind, those plumes were white and light blue as well. The horses might have been white. There were outriders on horses. There were guards on the top of the coach. There were people in the coach with me to protect me as well. There were many riders behind me. There were these windows on either side, and the windows were open. I was leaping from this side to the other side, and I was waving at people, and I just thought I was so wonderful, because how could I think otherwise? Because there were all these people there waiting to see me and waving at me and cheering, and I was sort of embarrassed watching my long ago self having this super conceited feeling about myself. I've had a lot of time to think about it and to realize that I was raised a certain way with servants and a lot of wealth, and had been told, maybe untruthfully, that I was the most beautiful, gorgeous, special, etc. human being. I expected the best because I was the best, and I knew I was the best and the greatest and the most wonderful. And when I saw this man, there was his advisors there, and I guess my advisors, and we were introduced to each other. And, well, you know, the likeness that they had sent me of him was a very flattering likeness, because in real life he was fat. And being the conceited young woman that I was, I laughed in his face, because he was so, in my opinion, my exalted opinion, he was a joke. Oh, I regret that, because evidently that I was laughing at him created in this lifetime the same situation for me to suffer through, so I could understand what it's like. That fat young prince, it turned out, is my husband in this lifetime. It makes me wonder if we fall in love because we know these people before and we've had a relationship with them in a previous lifetime as well. What do you think? 'Cause there was even more in the hypnosis sessions that in the past I was reluctant to talk about, and I'm getting ready now to talk about them. So in my next video, which I will post likely here once it's ready, I'll tell you about something that turned up in the hypnosis sessions that was more than surprising. It was so shocking that I could hardly even discuss it. Toodaloo.